Welcome. Thank you for having me. Quick show of hands. How many are you guys from FinTech? 1, 2. Okay. Traditional banks? Okay, a few less. Okay. Well. I actually had a video, and Martin said you only have 20 minutes, and if you don't switch off in 20 minutes, we have to carry off the stage. So I will be quick, because we are in Germany. Lots of regulations. I had a video, anyhow, the video is very long, and I was talking about random rewards. And interesting about random rewards, when they're given to consumers, they actually elicit loyalty more so than expected rewards, not only among those who receive it, but also among those who observe it. Interesting enough, rewards are great. But the reality is, why do we actually consume products? Why do we love products? Why do we value products? Which is a much more important question. And before I go to answer that, I would like for all of you to get up. I know, it's early in the morning, it's kind of weird. It's okay. Thank you very much. Is everybody up? All right, okay, I'll put this down for a quick moment. Can everybody hear me? Yeah, I would like for you to cross your arms. All right, this feels comfortable, right? Very comfortable. Very normal. Okay, now I want you to cross your arms the other way. Weird, right? Strange? Uncomfortable? You guys can sit down. Keep this in mind, keep this feeling in mind, because this feeling you guys have is what a few people experience around the globe who are changing the way they look at consumers. Because it is weird. The problem today is that most marketers think that by analyzing people's demographic, psychographic lifestyle, where they buy, how they buy, when they buy, they understand why they buy. But that's absolutely wrong, because they really think, by understanding that, they know how you and I consume. Truth be told, the consumers who are rethinking the way why people do think, they actually think about how people think in their heads. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about. And I'm talking about 3 paramount things you need to understand that will give you some, let's say, solutions, but also some examples, and then hopefully have a few minutes for some questions. So the first thing you guys need to know, when people make decisions, when we make decisions, we use actually multiple factors, which have little or nothing to do with who we are. Well, and the idea is based on the principle of behavioral economics, where we as consumers use multiple factors, cognitive, social, environmental, economic, all together to formulate how much money we are willing to pay, how we decide between product A or product B, what we expect the value from the product, or how the product is fulfilling our expectation. A quick example is Starbucks. I don't know if you guys remember the first time you had Starbucks. For me, it was in college. I know, I'm that young. Thank you. But usually I got coffee from Pete's coffee shop down the street. Pete was great because sometimes he gave me free coffee, which I love. But eventually they opened up a Starbucks down the street. So I walked down the street one day, found myself kind of intrigued, walked in, was shocked by the expensive prices. But since I was already in there, lost aversion, I decided, okay, fine, I will buy this freaking expensive cup of coffee. Sat down, enjoyed it, and eventually left. By the way, small coffee is a tall coffee, okay. A week later, thirsty for coffee, I had to make a decision because I was walking down the street and I had to decide between Pete or Starbucks. And that's where the principle of behavioral economics takes place, because now I have to decide, okay, which place to look at. And I'm thinking about the price, Starbucks versus Pete, the distance, 5 meters into Starbucks, 100 yards down the street to Pete's. The psychological factors, how do I feel inside? How's the barista treating me? How will others people see me drinking this very expensive cup of coffee? The brand, right? Very important. So I'm using all these factors and I'm creating the utility expectation. And what I'm doing in my mind is I'm evaluating each element against the brand I'm looking at to see what expectation these brands can fulfill. And not only do I create a utility expectation, I'm also creating a certain order where some elements have more weight than others. And we do this all the time. And I'm evaluating it, I go into decision process, I go in transaction. Hopefully the brand I'm choosing, Starbucks or Pete,
fulfilled my expectation I had in the first place, in the order I was expecting it. Right? And we do this with everything. Whether it's buying chewing gum at the airport, buying a car, buying a gift for our husbands or wives. Every time. And if you think back for a quick moment, if the product you actually want is not in a store, you linger longer. And you go through the same process somehow. All right, that's the first thing you guys need to know. The second thing you guys need to know is, although there's multiple factors for each product and services, people use them differently. So we did the millennial banking study in America a couple of years back. And interesting to know, millennials hate banks. Nothing new to you. Actually, would rather go to a dentist than to a banker, which is kind of interesting. But they told us these are the 7 elements they use to choose their primary bank with a checking account. This is not about mortgage, it's not about a car loan, it's not about a credit card, it's about primary banking. These elements you guys see here are listed by the consumer themselves. We have a tool, we're not going to talk about it, which is really boring. But these are the elements that were given to us. We didn't come up with that, etc., etc., etc. Interesting though, knowing these things, and if marketers look at the millennials, we still think that millennials are the same. Because everybody thinks women 30 to 35 are all the same, right? Sure. We all think the same. Truth be told, it's not true. Hello, welcome. It's not true. Looking at Martin and James, both identical twins. They grew up with the same parents, they have the same income, same jobs, same hobbies. The way they choose their bank, however, is different. Even so, they choose the same bank. And how this works, let's assume Martin just moved to Austin, my hometown. And he came from Frankfurt, and he has to find a new bank, and he is bombarded with messages from Wells Fargo, Chase, Bank of America. And how this works is that he starts his decision process on the left, moving to the right. By the way, this is a simplified version of the decision process. This is basically a psychological process he's using to form a decision. Usually it's a little bit more complicated, but for presentation purposes, we'll explain. And what he does in the real world, he's thinking about, okay, which of these banks can satisfy my expectation about mobile and online experience? Wells Fargo, Chase, yes. Bank of America is terrible. He drops Bank of America, he carries on to credit cards. Well, those have the same. Okay, he carries on to fees. He thinks Wells Fargo has better fees than Chase in his mind, right? Because it's an expectation. He drops Chase, he thinks like, do the service offers are good, ATM location, and so on and so forth. That's how Martin makes a decision. Where actually on the left, there's more weight, right? James, on the other hand, also picks Wells Fargo, also moved to Austin because he loves his brother. But the way he chose Wells Fargo is for a totally different reason. He needed a credit card that allows him to travel the world for a service that he can access across the world. Fees that are limited, ATM location he can access. He really doesn't care about the mobile online experience as well, right? So that's number 2. So far we have learned, we as human beings, complex as we are, use multiple factors. We all use them differently. And the last thing you guys need to know, when we talk about the digital future, is that in order to create true value, usefulness for the consumer, because that's what it's all about when we're trying to sell something, you have to be useful. 3 things need to happen. I need to see myself in the brand needs to reciprocate it, and the brand needs to continue the relationship throughout. And what we mean by that is, I need to see myself in the brand. It doesn't mean I need to see myself in advertising. I don't need to see myself as Martin, a 35-year-old man. I need to see from you somehow that you, first and foremost, have the mobile online experience that I expect from you. Right? Even so, these other elements here, they all are there, but if you don't fulfill this primarily, I'm not even considering you. Like Bank of America, I didn't see that you have the mobile online experience I want from you. I'm dropping you out of my consideration set. And if you think about it, like when you buy a car, if the car has that thing, you're like, oh, I don't want it. The other day I was thinking like buying a watch, actually yesterday. Skagen, if anyone know what Skagen? Skang is a Danish watchmaker, very nice and neat. They came out with a new mobile watch. Do you have one?
Yeah.
Oh, you love it?
I love it.
Oh, damn it. We need to talk afterwards. Anyway, so I was in the store, right? And I'm like, oh my God, this is so amazing. I want to buy this watch. And I have an Apple Watch. By the way, who has an Apple Watch here? Awful, right? No, you guys love it? Okay, good. Which is fine. No, it's a great watch, but it's really painful when you have to switch armbands all the time. So I went in there and I'm like, oh man, I really love this watch. It's really super cool. I can see myself in it. And then I was thinking, right? I'm like, oh, okay, it has what I want. Well, and they did a really good job in reaffirming that they have what I wanted. Well, in Martin's case, they told me like, hey, I have the mobile online experience that you want, and so on and so forth. But then, that's when it happened. The brand needs to reconfirm or continue to develop the relationship throughout. And what we mean by that is, not only do they have to confirm that you have what I want, they also need to provide you when I'm buying this. Has to fulfill my expectation not only on par on each element, but hopefully exceed my expectation on each element to be valuable. So what that means is, but I not only want to have a checking account, I want to know, I want to learn how to finance. I want to learn how to save money. I want to have a product that carries me around the world. So what does it all mean for you? And I have two examples, and then I'm open for questions. One example is Martin. Quick example, Martin just moved from Austin, now he's moving to London. He needs a new bank. Who's from London here, by the way? Hello. Who's from England? All right, there's more. Okay, welcome, by the way. You guys know Monzo, right? Monzo? No? Oh, good. Thanks. Awesome. All right, so Martin moved to London. By the way, in America, 16% of the millennial population thinks like this. Which is roughly 27 million. So he moved to London, he said, okay, I need a bank. And he's like, okay, which of the banks, again, going to the primary bank, has the mobile online experience I want? He looks around, and it's a lot, but only one really fulfills his need, and that is Monzo. Monzo is a primarily online bank, established last year, and I had the privilege to talk to the CEO Tom, last year in New York. And I said, how do you build this bank? He's like, do you know what? I was really upset with banks, and I didn't have what they needed. And I said, okay, so you build an online bank, and they can do everything online. You know, pay your bills, get your check, take a picture, reward points every year in America.
Expire?
They expire. Expire. $60 billion. God. Crazy, right? $60 billion. In Europeans, I think, Milliarden. 67 Milliarden. That's a big sum, by the way. Anyhow, a company came to us and said, hey, we want to create a credit card. I'm like, okay, crazy. You create a credit card. They wanted to know how people actually give to charities. And what we told them, well, by the way, people who look for banks actually look for credit cards. So if you build a credit card for people in mind like James, who gives to charities like this, you have to build a credit card that allows him to give to any charity they want. So what they did is they created a charity charge card that allows people to give 1% of every purchase they make to the charity, school, church of their choice. So every time that you purchase something, they bought this garden watch. They not only please themselves, they also please the charities of their choice. So it's a win-win, right? So, in the end of the day, and we are out of time, there's 2 more minutes to go, Martin is getting up, okay. What do you need to do, since we talk about the digital future? Last point I'm going to make. You have to build a digital doppelganger. You do. That's where the future goes. If you understand how I think about mortgages, checking accounts, credit cards, you can give me explicit information that I want to hear, and you make me love you. Because that's the power. If you know, and you explicitly show me on your mobile app, on your online, what I want to see, then I'm saying yes to you over and over again. But if you don't, I'm getting frustrated because you don't give me what I want. And going on a website and searching around, where can I find my annual spending? On what's five, it took me 10 clicks, by the way. It's painful. So if you can explicitly show me what I want digitally and help me out every single time, then you fulfill utility expression you now have, and that's how you win consumers in the future. And especially with AI that is coming, it's not going away, you have to start thinking like this. That's all I have, and I have no more minutes for questions.
Oh, thank you, Christian.
Thank you.
So when you started your talk, I first saw Martin. So Martin, I'm very old school because I'm still using my very traditional bank, and I work with the cumbersome online banking and brokerage tool they offer to me. On the other hand, I had the other experience when I tried to set up another brokerage at another bank. And then I looked at the bank, the first steps went very well, and then I ended up with such a stack of paper to sign. And that was where I then said, hey, why should I do it? Which they probably had to do due to regulations. On the other hand, it was the point where I said, hey, then I can stay with my standard bank. So any questions from your end? And I'm 100% with you know, any questions from them to you?
Yes, please.
So he made you move, so maybe one question at least. You should be a little bit more awake right now.
Good question.
Okay,
yes, go ahead.
Just to keep the ball rolling. So in terms of PSD2, thank you. So in terms of PSD2, banks already know what you're doing. They have the transactional data, they have everything. And in terms of PSD2, with the aggregators, you will be able to fetch data from the other accounts and be able to use like AI. We did a similar thing with Viber where we have the chatbot and we do the same thing. But you will be able to see how much money is actually spent, you see the habits, and you're able to compose the offering based on that. So this is the actual takeaway for me from this side. Anything to add?
Yeah, good. Very good point. Now take it a step further, right? What you see is what happens, where it happens, when it happens, how much it happens, how often it happens, right? Well, you don't know why it happens. It's almost like big data. If you see, what people see is like this shampoo and this conditioner gets bought together all the time. So for the marketers, I have to put them together because people will buy it more, right? Makes sense? Good for you, good for the ROI. What you do not know is why do they buy these shampoo and conditioner together? Is it for the hair, the shine of the hair, the strength of the hair? That's where it becomes important to create relevancy and purpose, because now you can talk to them of why you bought this thing. Why do you need this offer? You're just throwing an offer there because you see constant transaction. But if you know that, you know what, actually if we reduce this fee, he will actually stay with us longer and he will buy more. Because we know why he's doing these things. So if I now am a fee purchaser in a bank account, right? I come to you because you have the lowest fees. And you see all the transactions. And you know that I'm a fee shopper. And you say, you know what, I will reduce your fees. You might lose money, but in the end you will gain money because I will stick with you. And that's kind of the long-term results, not just the short-term results you see with big data. Right? Okay. Good question.
Perfect. So
I will be around all day.
Exactly. We have a long break.